Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be a little different. I thought I would I've been really getting into book vlogs and stuff on YouTube. I found the booktube, if you will, part of YouTube. It's been a while since I've been in front of this camera for you guys. I don't really know. I was thinking about, do I still want to do YouTube? Is that something I still want to do? And the reality, I still love makeup, but it's hard to keep up with the trends of makeup and buying all. I love reviewing new releases and trying all the new makeup, but it's just financially too much. So it's been a while since I've bought makeup. I've been buying a little here by here. The last thing I bought was like this Scooby-Doo and Glamlight collection, and I pretty much got that because it was only going to be available for 1 month only, and after that it was going to be gone. I don't know if it really is gone, but after that it was going to be gone. So that's the most recent like makeup release that I bought, besides the Juvia's Place liquid blushes and the liquid highlight. I did get that, but I really haven't been buying much makeup. I've been obsessed with booktube, so I thought that I would do a little bit of a different video for my channel. And I'm thinking also about changing the name of my channel from Betsy's Makeup Obsession to just Betsy's Obsessions, because literally I'm obsessed with more things than just makeup right now. Like, I love makeup. I still love it, even though I can't even tell you the last time I've worn makeup. But I still love buying it. I still love when I put it on. I still enjoy all that. But I also love doing like reviews of new foods at fast food places and stuff like that, which y'all know I do some mukbangs on my channel, and I love doing that. And I recently refound my love of reading, which I've loved since I was a little child. Middle school was really hard for me. When I was in middle school, before I was pulled out and homeschooled. Before I was pulled out and homeschooled, middle school wasn't easy. I got picked on a lot. Told I was fat. You know, the usual. But books were my escape, you know. So I read to escape to another place. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. So books have always been my source of escape. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so it's not like we could go a lot of places, but I could read about it. And in my mind, I could escape to whatever place I was reading at that moment. So growing up, I was big into reading. I did a lot of reading. I loved Harry Potter. I loved the Princess Diaries books. I do remember reading Goosebumps and stuff like that when I was growing up. And The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I read all those books. Just a different bunch of variety of books. I don't even think my mom kept all the books I had. I think she got rid of them. Which sucks. But anyways, and how perfectly fitting that I'm wearing my Gilmore Girls Luke's Diner shirt for this booktube video, because I very much considered myself a Rory. I used to watch Gilmore Girls growing up with my mom. We would watch it together. It was our show to watch together. I was really close with my mom. So anyways, let's just go ahead and get into the books that I have read so far this week. I'm going to start out with, this is The Summer I Turned Pretty. I ended up buying the box set of it on Amazon, but I did check out the first book, The Summer I Turned Pretty, at my library, and I did it because I wanted to watch the show, and I knew that the show was based off of the books. So I wanted to read the books first before watching the show, as they always tend to change something up in the shows versus the books, you know? And boy, did they do that with this series. But once I read the first book, I was completely hooked. I needed to read the second one and then the third one. And when I went to put the second one on hold on my library, it already was on, somebody had already had it checked out, plus there was somebody else waiting for it to come off a hold, so I would have been in position 2 for the hold, and I didn't want to wait. So I went on Amazon and I literally just bought the box set that had all 3 of it in here. So, and I just love the cover. Look how cute this cover is. I think it's really pretty. It's very summery. So these books are the perfect summertime read. Here, I'll read the synopsis on the back of this so you can tell, because it's pretty much about Belly. It says, Belly has always lived for the summertime because it means all her favorite things. Swimming, the beach, and the Fisher boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. She has spent every summer of her life with them at Cousins Beach. All the while, Belly has loved Conrad from afar until finally one fatal summer, it seems like he might feel something for her too. But as it turns out, so does Jeremiah. As the summers go on, Belly must choose between the 2 brothers and face the inevitable. She will have to break one of their hearts. So, as you've seen, and I think this resonated so well with me because it talks about her going to the beach every summer, and that's the one thing I loved about growing up. We went to the beach every summer to visit my grandparents, or my dad's grandparents, which they're not around anymore. They both passed, but I remember always loving going to visit them and getting to go to the beach. But I loved visiting my grandparents, and it's sad that they're no longer around to visit. I always had a lot of fun with them. I remember my grandma used to make us when we were younger. We loved bologna and cheese with mustard sandwiches, and she would make those for us for lunch. But I loved going to the beach every summer. It was Daytona Beach. They lived in Orange County, close to Daytona Beach in Florida. That's where we would go every summer. When I was growing up, I always knew that was going to be our big vacation. And I loved it so much. So this kind of brought back those memories of my good memories of going to the beach in the summers, visiting my grandparents. So I really love it. I give this book 5 stars. I pretty much read a book a day. It's a YA novels. So they're young adult novels, so it's pretty easy to get through the books. But I read a book a day, and I really, really did enjoy the character Belly, even though I feel like she does act a little juvenile. But she's young, you know. In the first book, she's 15, and her birthday happens to fall in the summertime, and she's going to be turning 16. And that's usually the time when you kind of grow up a little bit, you know. And she's kind of grown up a little bit. And I think when she comes that summer, the boys, Conrad and Jeremiah, see her for the first time. And it's like, you know, she's grown up. And it happened so suddenly. So it's so good. I love the play between the 2 boys. And I love the way it ended too. So I definitely would recommend this as just a cute summery beach read. This is a great read to read by the pool while you're sitting on the beach. Definitely a 5-star read for me. Now, the next book, I just finished this book last night, actually. The next book I started reading was By a Thread by Lucy Score. This was my first Lucy Score book. And this is an adult romance novel. It's not really a summery one. Lately, I've been really into summer books just because it's summertime and I want to read about people being at the beach or something, you know, some summery vacation or something like that. But this one was so good. It's very chunky. I was very intimidated by that because this is a chunky book. It has 570 pages in this book. So pretty much this is about Allie. She's working a job at a pizza place, and then this guy Dominic comes in with his mother. She doesn't realize that it's his mother at first though, and he's pretty much just rude to her from the beginning the whole time. So when he orders a pizza, she spells out F-U on the pizza, pepperoni, and he gets her fired. So she makes like a scene and leaves, and then Dominique's mom follows after her and on the bus offers her a job to work at her high-profile fashion magazine, pretty much as an admin. And when she goes in on that Monday to start her job, she finds out that Dominique works there. So it's pretty much just this huge banter between her and Dominique and their love-hate for each other. But I really super enjoyed this. I'm new to like the booktube thing. I want to say this is like a slow burn, because it was like the banter goes on with them and it's long into the book before they actually get together. So I don't know, I really liked that, because it did have a lot of funny moments when the banter, and I recommend this if you are an adult, because this is very spicy. Maybe one of the spiciest books I've read so far. But I did check this one out at the library, as you can see. And I'm doing this video right now because I'm getting ready to go to the library and return this book. And there's books that I have on hold. So I think I'm going to include, when I come back from the library, my library TBR. I'll show you the books that I had on hold in the library and what's on my library TBR, because I do have 2 more books that I'm not going to be showing you here, but I'll show you when I come back from the library. But I definitely recommend this. I did give it 5 stars, because although it was a big book and that intimidated me, I was like, oh, is this going to be like a slow read? Am I going to get bored during it because it's so much longer? And I haven't read this long of a like romance book before. No, I didn't get bored reading it. The funny banter between the 2 main characters kept me going. So I really enjoyed this. And I can't wait to read more by Lucy Score, because I really enjoyed her writing. So that brings me to the current read that I'm starting now, which is another YA novel. And this is It Started With Goodbye by Christina June. So I'm just going to read the back of this, because I haven't really started it yet. I have it at the beginning. I've read like a couple pages last night when I woke up and I couldn't like go back to sleep. I read a few pages and then until I started getting like a little sleepy, and then I went back to bed. But this one, the back read like so good. It seemed like it's going to be a very cute, a beachy read. It says, Tatum Elsia is bracing for the worst summer of her life. After being falsely accused of a crime, she's stuck under stepmother-imposed house arrest and her BFF's gone radio silent. Tatum fills her newfound free time with community service by day and working at her covert graphic design business at night, which includes trading emails with a cute cello-playing client. If Tatum is reading his emails right, her virtual Prince Charming is funny, smart, and talented, and he seems to think the same about her too. Too bad he's spending his summer across the ocean in Ireland. Not that Tatum would be allowed to go on a date anyway. But over the course of the summer, Tatum discovers she's not the only one in the house keeping secrets, and she might just get the chance to make amends with her family and friends with the help of her step-abuela/fairy godmother. Tatum is ready to start fresh and maybe even find her happily ever after along the way. It says here on the bottom, it's a modern play on the Cinderella story. It started with goodbye. It shows us that sometimes going after what you want means breaking all the rules. So, as you can tell, this sounds like a really cute beachy read. Not beachy read, but a really cute summer read. And it's a very thin book. It's a really thin book, so I definitely think it's something that I can read in one day once I get started reading. But it'll probably take me a day and a half of starting it today, because I'm probably not going to start it until after I come back from the pool, because I'm taking my son to the pool today because it's actually a nice day today and it's supposed to be in the 80s. So this is the book I'm starting on today. I just wanted to share those with y'all. So I'll come back when I've finished. Well, I'm going to come back when I'm back from the library so I can show you all the books that I had on hold that I picked up at the library, plus the 2 that I already have that are on my library TBR. And then after that, I'm going to come back probably tomorrow whenever I finish this book and give you my thoughts on the book. And pretty much through the week. I don't know when I'm going to be able to post this though, because this weekend is my husband's sister's birthday party. So we're staying the weekend at his sister's house, and I'm making my corn spoon bread for the party. So maybe on Monday I can edit it and post it, or Tuesday. No, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. Today's Thursday. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But maybe I'll quit after I finish reading this. Maybe I'll just review this and wrap it up, and maybe I can try to post it on Friday. Edit it and post it on Friday, because I feel like the editing is going to be super easy for this. So it'll be super easy editing for my book vlog, and I'll just do that. And then hopefully next week I can do a little bit more, but I don't know, because Monday I'm getting my hair cut, and then Tuesday I have to get the oil changed in the car, but that's easy. I can take a book with me and read while the oil's getting changed. So anyways, I'm going to go, and I'll see you when I get back from the library. So I'm back from my little library trip, returned that book I was showing you I was going to return, and picked up what I had in my holds section in the library. But first I want to show you the two. I do have two other books that I have them checked out, so it's on my library TBR. These two books, and I have them, like, when I stack my library TBR, I stack it in the order that I want to read the books, so I know that the next book I want to read is on top of the pile. Sometimes I'll switch it around if I'm just not feeling in the mood for that book, but for the most part I know which order I want to read my books in. So I have Hopeless from Colleen Hoover. I went on, I read one Colleen Hoover book that finally, because these Colleen Hoover books, it's a very long hold on pretty much all of her books at the library, so it takes forever to get them. But I'm now moving on to the Hopeless series. I still need to read the two other books in her Slammed series. I read Slammed, but I need to read the other two in that series. But still waiting for the second one to come off of hold. So I'm moving on to Hopeless here. At one point in my library TBR, all the books were Colleen Hoover books. My favorite one so far that I've read is probably Verity. I really like that one. That one was like a romance thriller. There was parts in the book where I was like freaking me out, because I was reading it like in the middle of the night with my library, my little book light I have here I got from Amazon. And it was giving me goosebumps, and I was like, oh my god, what is going on here? So I really like that book, and I still think about it today. So I think so far Verity's my favorite Colleen Hoover book. But here's Hopeless, and it just says, beloved and best-selling author Colleen Hoover returns with the spellbinding story of two young people with devastating pasts who embark on a passionate, intriguing journey to discover the lessons of life, love, trust, and above all, the healing power that only truth can bring. Sky, a senior in high school, meets Dan Holder, a guy with a promiscuous reputation that rivals her own. From their very first encounter, he terrifies and captivates her. Something about him sparks memories of her deeply troubled past, a time she's tried so hard to bury. Though Sky is determined to stay far away from him, his unwavering pursuit and enigmatic smile break down her defenses, and the intensity of the bond between them grows. But the mysterious Holder has been keeping secrets of his own, and once they are revealed, Sky is changed forever, and her ability to trust may be a casualty of the truth. Only by courageously facing the stark revelations can Sky and Holder hope to heal their emotional scars and find a way to live and love without boundaries. It says that Hopeless is a novel that will leave you breathless, entranced, and remembering your own first love. Although I feel like my first love was nothing like any of these loves that I've read in the books. But yeah, I don't know. I like Colleen Hoover. Pretty much all her books have been 5-star books for me. I feel like they're just, if you've read her books, they're so emotional. And I'm already an emotional person. So I think I've cried at every single book I've read. And I'm trying to remember. I think the first one I read was Remembering You, Regretting You. I forgot what the name of it was, but it's the book that got me into Colleen Hoover. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm putting them all on hold, and they all started coming available. And one time I was reading all Colleen Hoover until here recently. The last few books I showed you are ones that weren't Colleen Hoover that I've read. So back onto a Colleen Hoover book. That one's the next one I'm going to read once I finish the last book I just showed you. And then the other one that I have on my library TBR after that one is this one called The Agathas. This is a YA novel too. It's a mystery. It pretty much just says part Agatha Christie, part Veronica Mars, and completely entertaining. So I'm very intrigued to read this because I do love Agatha Christie, and I loved the Veronica Mars series, and I love a good mystery. So I love mysteries and thrillers just as much as I love romance novels. And I wish it had, like, it doesn't have, like, a synopsis on the back or even on the inside or anything. Or I would, read the synopsis for you. But it doesn't have it. But I think it's, like, two best friends that are also detectives. So I'm getting, like, Nancy Drew vibes from this maybe, too. You know, in that sense. So I'm very excited to read this. It's not really a summer, neither one of these are really summer beachy reads, but they are on my list to read nonetheless. It's what became available. That's on my whole list, which is like 31 books long right now. They only, and fun fact, I found out they only let you have 50 books on your whole list. I've dwindled that down to then there was only like 10, and then I started adding more. Now it's back up to 31 for what's on my whole list. So that's a fun fact for you. Now into what I picked up today from my library to add to my library TBR. Fun fact, here is my little tote bag I take to the library to get my books in. This is a Victoria's Secret pink tote bag. I've had this tote bag since I was a teenager. And I still have it. So I'm just going to pull out random books here. I don't know what order they're going to be in my TBR yet. So the first one I pulled out. But anyways, the first book I pulled out is Tessa Bailey's Secretly Yours. So I have read a Tessa Bailey book before. I don't remember which one it was I read. I need to go back on my Goodreads and check. But I know I've read a Tessa Bailey book before. And it was really good. So this one says, Haley Welch fell hard for Julian Voss at 14 after they almost kissed in the dark vineyards of his family's winery. Now the prodigal hottie has returned to their small town. When Haley is hired to revamp the gardens on the Voss estate, she wonders if she finally get that smooch. But the grumpy professor isn't that teenager she remembers, and their polar opposite personalities clash spectacularly. One wine-fueled girls' night later, Hallie can't shake the sense that she did something reckless, and then she remembers the drunken secret admirer letter she left for Julian. Oh, crap. On sabbatical from his Ivy League job, Julian plans to write a novel, but having Haley gardening right outside his window is the ultimate distraction. She's eccentric, chronically late, and often literally covered in dirt, and so unbelievably beautiful he can't focus on anything else. Until he finds an anonymous letter sent by a woman from his past. Even as Julian wonders about this admirer, he's sucked further into Haley's orbit. Like the flowers she plants all over town, Haley is a burst of color in Julian's grayscale life. For a man who irons his socks and runs on tight schedules, her stunning, chaotic energy makes zero sense. But there's something so familiar about her, and her very presence is turning his world upside down. So it sounds like a very cute rom-com. This whole love-hate relationship they're going to have going on, which I very much enjoyed in the last book I read. So, and this one, not as long as the last book I read, so I'm very excited to read this. I still don't know what part it's going to play in my library TBR. I'll have to see. But I'm very excited for that one. As a romance lover. Next, oh, this is going to be my first K.A. Tucker book. And this is Say You Still Love Me. And the front just looks like a lake. And I'm like, ooh, this would be cute for a summer read. And it says, life is a mixed bag for Piper Calloway. On the one hand, she's a 29-year-old VP at her dad's multi-billion-dollar real estate development firm and living with her 2 best friends in a swanky downtown penthouse. On the other hand, she constantly has to prove her worth in a male-dominated world. Things get exponentially more complicated for Piper when she runs into Kyle Miller, the handsome new security guard at Calloway Group. And coincidentally, the first love of her life. The guy she hasn't seen or heard from since they were summer camp counselors together. The guy from the wrong side of the tracks. The guy who apparently doesn't even remember her name. Piper may be a high-powered businesswoman now, but she soon realizes that her schoolgirl crush is not only alive, but stronger than ever. What's more, despite Kyle's distant attitude, she's convinced their reunion isn't at all by accident and that his feelings for her still run deep. And she's determined to make him admit to them no matter the consequences. So I got this because I think I seen it on BookTube, one of the booktubers I was watching, and talking about this is a recommendation for like a summer read because it has like summer camp. Who didn't go to summer camp when they were young? I went to summer camp when I was younger. It was a Christian summer camp. Ah! There went my books. They all went tumbling down. But I have to pick them up. But anyways, I did go to a Christian camp when I was a teenager. Because we're Christians. But I was always the shy person when I was younger. And you know how you are when you're younger. You're shy, you're unsure of yourself. You think everybody's looking at you and talking about you when really they probably aren't even doing that. But I remember it was like 2 weeks out. I think it was 2 weeks out of the summer. It was either a week or 2 weeks out of every summer. There was a camp that I went to, and they would play sports, and we would go to the pool, and it was just a lot of fun. They had little fellowships. They would get together, and we would have fellowships with the bonfire, and then we would roast marshmallows and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I wish you had like the option of whether you wanted to participate in some of the sports or not, and you have like options to choose what you wanted to participate in instead of expecting you to participate in everything. But I did really enjoy going there. I met new people, and it was just so much fun. So this, when it said it was about summer camp counselors when they were younger, I was like, oh, I need to read this book because it's going to take me back to when I went to summer camp when I was younger, and it's just going to make me remember those times because they were some good times. So I'm very excited about this one. I already know that this one, after reading the synopsis, this one's probably the one I'm going to read after the Agathas, because I'm really excited for that one. This one, I think I've seen this one on BookTube also. It says The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So on the back here, it says, Florence Day is a ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. When her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension on her book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. But then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive, and she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. For 10 years, she's run from the town that's never understood her, and even though she misses the sounds of a warm southern night and her eccentric, loving family in their funeral parlor, she can't bring herself to stay. Her father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it. Until she finds a ghost until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and he's just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. Ooh, this sounds good. So this sounds, some of these ones I forget by the time that they become available. I forget like what they're about and the reason why I added them to my TBR, but now reading it, I remember why. So this does sound really good. Let's see. Let me see what the other ones were. Y'all have to let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books and what you would rate them. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one too. It sounds very good, but it sounds like, is she going to be having a romance with the dead dude? Interesting. And this is the last book. Another Colleen Hoover book. This one is Too Late. This will probably end up being maybe after Say You Still Love Me. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I try to break up in between Colleen Hoover books if I can, because these are just so emotional and they really take the emotions out of you. But I hate it when they do that. They put the library part over top of the synopsis, so I can't really see the whole thing. But it says Sloane will go through hell and back for those she loves, I'm assuming, and she does every single day. After finding herself struck in a relationship with dangerous and morally corrupt Asa Jackson, Sloane will do whatever it takes to get by until she's able to find a way out. Nothing will get in her way. Nothing except Carter. Sloane is the best thing to ever happen to Asa, and if you ask Asa, he'd say he's the best thing to ever happen to Sloane. Despite Sloane's disapproval of Asa's sinister lifestyle, he does exactly what he needs to do in order to stay a step ahead in his business. He also does exactly what he needs to do in order to stay a step ahead of Sloane. Nothing will get in his way. Nothing except Carter. So this sounds good. Oh, I was just looking the pages here. So this sounds really good. Sounds like it's going to be like she's in love with 3 people, 2 people maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, I think we'll probably end up putting this one. I'll read probably Say You Still Love Me. And then I'll go to Colleen Hoover's Too Late. And then I think I'm going to go to the Dead Romantics. And then I'll end up with the Tessa Bailey book last. Which is pretty interesting because normally I try to read the hardcover books first. Because I don't really like... I prefer soft cover books over hardcover books. But, you know, when it's a newer book, that's what you're going to get. So that's what's on my library TBR. So you can look forward to my next book vlog having some of these books in it with some reviews. This is not going to be the end of this book vlog yet. I'm going to start, when I'm done here, I'm going to go in there and start reading my next book. At least a little bit before we head to the pool, because the pool doesn't open till 12 and it's 10:37 now. So, and I would take the book with me to the pool, but my son's still at the age where he likes me to be in the pool with him, so I'm not really going to have any time to just lay by the pool and read unless my husband comes with us, but he's working, so it's not going to happen today. But, yeah. We'll probably only be at the pool for like a couple hours, and then I'll come back and I can read a little bit more before having to start dinner. But yeah, that's it for my library TBR. I did kind of give you like the order that I'm going to be reading things in. Anyways, I guess I'll talk to y'all tomorrow when I've finished reading the next book that I've started. I'll give you that review, and then I'll wrap up the book reading vlog there, and we'll see how much I can cut out of this, because it already looks like it's going to be a long video, because I cannot stop talking. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi guys. So I'm back, and I just finished reading. It started with Goodbye by Christina June. I told you I was going to start reading yesterday, and I got about halfway through it yesterday and just finished it up now. It's lunchtime, so I'm going to be having lunch once I'm done here. But, yeah, I like this book. I do get where it says it's a modern play on a Cinderella story. It's pretty much, it's about Tatum. In the beginning, she's with her friend who has gotten in with the wrong guy who has a lot of priors on him. So he ends up stealing something from a store that they're at, and they get caught in the car together. The security or police or whatever stops them, and they get out of the car, and the guy ends up going to jail. But they just get community service because they were in the car with them. But so it pretty much is like a retelling of Cinderella. She has community service, and her stepmother her dad ends up leaving. So right after it happens, her dad ends up leaving for a work trip, which apparently he travels a lot for work. But he leaves right after it happens, and it's her stepmother that has to do the discipline on her, and pretty much she only lets her go to the community service, which is pretty much cutting down these plants or whatever, and trimming bushes and stuff like that. She's only allowed to do that in her usual babysitting job that she does during the summer. But it turns out that the babysitting job that she goes through the summer, they end up leaving out of the country for the whole summer. So she's not really doing the babysitting job. She's supposed to just be pet sitting, but she doesn't tell her stepmother that because her stepmother pretty much has her in jail, she calls it, and she doesn't want to let her leave the house to do anything. So she feels like she's Cinderella stuck in jail. And then she's really good at graphic design, so she starts a little business after encouragement from one of her friends that she did some graphic design artwork for, to start a business called TLC. And she goes to a local school. It's like a high school, but one of those art high schools that you have to apply to get in. When she goes to like an open house that weekend and leaves her card, she made business cards and pens, and she leaves them out for people for like the students and stuff to find, so she can get her business moving. And her abuela helps her out by giving her a credit card so she could use her money off of her credit card to make the pens and the business cards. And pretty much her abuela is the one that's helping her out the whole summer with everything and being like really nice to her, while she feels like her stepmom is being really mean to her, not treating her fairly, unlike her stepsister, who is getting treated a lot better than her. But so pretty much, and then when she's there dropping off her cards and her business pens and stuff that she's leaving at school, she meets a guy who she never gets the name of the guy, but they hit it off right away. And then it turns out that he ends up contacting her for the business to get a website made for him for school, for when he goes to apply for colleges. So he has that on his college resume, and they end up chatting and over emails and really hitting it off. And in the end, it just ended really good. I give it 4 stars. I don't want to give it away, so I don't want to tell in the end what happens. But I did really end up liking this. I'm going to give it 4 stars because I did have a hard time getting into it at first. But once it got to the part where she was dropping off her business cards and the pens and she met the guy, it started to pick up a little bit more, and my interest sparked a little bit more once she did that. But there were I did have some lulls in the book where I was starting to get bored and stuff, but it always picked up when she was emailing the guy and stuff. So it was really good. I would call this not your typical summer book, because to me, a typical summer read would be at the beach or somewhere exotic, not just at your house locked up. paying penance for your sins. And I think also this might just be a little bit too YA for me. Maybe that's also why I didn't like it. But yeah, 4 stars, because I really did connect with her and the guy that she ends up falling for and everything. So I did thoroughly enjoy it in the end, but I did really like it. So that's gonna be it for my reading vlog this time. I'm gonna pick up next time with it'll start out with the Colleen Hoover Hopeless, which I'll probably start reading maybe later today. I'm going to take a little break from reading today after reading this book so I can eat lunch and fix lunch for my son. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little reading vlog. You'll have to let me know if you like this, because I think I'm going to start doing more, especially over the summer, doing more reading vlogs and just doing vlogs of what I've been reading that week and giving like little reviews of the books that I've been reading and showing my library hauls, what I'm picking up at the library and stuff that's on my library TBRs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up down below. And if you're not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And next to the subscribe button is the bell. You can ring that to be notified of all my future uploads. And I hope you guys are having a great day, night, weekend, or whenever it is you're watching this. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.